The Bever family lived in the quiet suburbs of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, just 20 minutes southeast of Tulsa. Broken Arrow is considered an idyllic place for families to live, separated from the hustle and bustle of the inner city by a large golf course. David and April Bever lived at 709 Magnolia Court in a 5-bedroom white gambrel style home that, according to neighbors, was very scary and had a sketchy vibe to it. The couple married in 1991, and at the time of our story in 2015, they had 7 children: 18-year-old Robert, 16-year-old Michael, 13-year-old Crystal, 12-year-old Daniel, 7-year-old Christopher, 5-year-old Victoria, and 1-year-old Autumn. David worked from home as an IT consultant for HP Enterprise Services, having graduated from Oral Roberts University in the early 1980s with numerous database certifications. April was a stay-at-home mom but had previously owned a business called A Sign of Surprise that, for a fee, would place a surprise stork sign in the yard of someone who recently had a baby. The Bever family were devout Christians, attending services at several area churches in Tulsa. April and David would often talk with their children about people they hated and would refer to the biblical Armageddon as a retribution thing for everything they hated about the world. The Bever parents were controlling of their kids. They had locks on all their doors and didn't allow them to play with other children or even interact with the neighbors. In fact, the Bever family were such hermits that neighbors didn't even know their names and believed April and David just had one child since they only ever saw a boy leaving and entering the house. The family never opened the blinds or windows, and nobody outside was ever invited into the home, not even grandparents, aunts, or uncles. David also had surveillance cameras installed all around the exterior of the house and spent hours monitoring them. The Bever children briefly attended youth club and were once in a bowling league, but after that, they would go months without ever leaving the house. The only times they ventured into public was to buy groceries or vacation in Tennessee. Robert sometimes worked at a Christian call center.
Although she kept her kids hidden from others in real life, April had no issue with sharing stories about her 7 children on Reddit. Under the username AOkiMom, I guess an Oki mom was taken, in January 2015 she posted the following: "I have 7 children, and we have always lived on one income and never had any government assistance or needed it." As well as, "My kids do not do without. There are childless people who do not have this. Life is about making good job or income choices and then making the best money choices based on your income." As well as, "I would never give up having any of my children so I could have more money. They are amazing people, and the world will benefit by having them in it. And nothing I could buy or invest in could compare to giving a person a chance to have a life." She also had a website dedicated to her youngest daughter, Autumn, who had been born prematurely. The website, which no longer exists, read, and I quote, "Right as the doctor came in, Autumn decided to make her entrance into the world. She was immediately grabbed by the team, and they started frantically working on her. I went from being in incredible pain to being perfectly fine. I could not look at my husband because of the guilt and sadness of feeling like I could have caused our daughter to die. While they finished checking me out, a special team of doctors and nurses asked my husband if he would like to come take a picture of her. Time stood still for my husband. He said the biggest fear was the picture he was about to take was of our daughter that had passed away."
April and David decided to homeschool their kids but didn't provide any opportunities to socialize with other children. Their involvement in their kids' education was so little that they expected them to teach themselves via the internet and did not even realize that Michael was dyslexic. Michael had also been diagnosed with ADHD, but the couple never bothered pursuing any counseling or medication for him. Furthermore, April fed herself and David balanced, home-cooked meals while only allowing her children to eat peanut butter sandwiches and ramen noodles. She also punished the children for sneaking food from the pantry.
When asked about his parents, Robert said they locked themselves away in their offices for the majority of the day. David was also a gambler and went to the casino every week. Robert was the only child to be educated outside the home. He briefly attended preschool at the age of 3, but his parents pulled him out after he was molested. Robert also says his mom and dad never thought we were good enough and wanted us to be better. Robert has claimed that his father was abusive. He testified that David threw a shoe at his face after he had accidentally tripped him up, pushed him and Michael on multiple occasions, and bullied Michael for having a speech impediment by shaking him and yelling, "Stop and don't talk until you can speak clearly." Robert also said David once dragged him upstairs for leaving the light on, and April slapped him across the face so hard she left a mark. Crystal later stated that she heard her parents arguing one night, and it sounded like their dad had pushed their mom into a wall. Robert did not get on well with his younger brother Daniel and was physically abusive to him. Young boy once needed stitches after Robert had attacked him. While he hated Daniel, Robert was very close with Michael. They shared a bedroom, Robert helped him with his schooling, and the pair had the same interests and hobbies. While they enjoyed knife collecting and trying on body armor, their biggest interest was mass killings. According to Crystal, Michael talked about his favorite serial killers at least once a day. In 2014, he also asked her if she wanted to help Robert and him kill the entire family. Crystal told him no and went to tell their mom what Michael had said. April dismissed the situation as boys will be boys.
While both brothers were fascinated by serial killers, Robert's obsession was on a whole other level. He despised humanity, and his ambition in life was to become a serial killer. The Columbine shooters, Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris, were Robert's idols, and he aspired to one day carry out a mass killing and succeed the Columbine death toll. Robert admired serial killers so much because he believed killing more than one person would make him godlike. He also believed serial killers were doing a public service by ridding the world of people who had not contributed to society. Robert kept a journal where he documented his fantasies of mass killing. He even created imaginary Robert Bever serial killer characters who he described as cold-blooded and ruthless. Robert liked to put on his body armor and pretend he was the character in his journal.
Despite having such a dark personality, Robert's online presence almost made him seem like a normal person. He had a Pinterest account with 3 boards, one called Funny Randomness, where he posted a host of internet memes, another called My Style, where he posted pictures of a Ford Mustang, a Rolex watch, sunglasses, and Harley Davidson leather boots. The other board, called Music I Like, included pictures of the band Linkin Park, Jay-Z, Kanye West, and Eminem. One quote pinned to his board stated, "I don't have awkward moments. I have an awkward life, occasionally interrupted by normalcy." Another pin from a military website shows a door lock designed to look like the chamber of a gun. He commented, "I am totally going to do this." In a bid to achieve his sick dreams of becoming a famous serial killer, Robert came up with a plan that would see him and his brother commit a very deadly mass killing. His plan for this mass murder was outlined on a thumb drive. Robert has claimed this plan was, at first, not serious and just something to make me feel better. However, as time went by, his fantasies of committing mass murder became so intense that he decided to act on them in real life. Sticking to his plan, Robert purchased a shotgun, 2 Glock pistols, 2,000 rounds of .45 caliber ammo, and 250 12-gauge shotgun shells. He would pick up the gun from a local gun shop and the ammo would be delivered to the Bever home on July 23rd. After that, the brothers would steal their parents' car, leave Oklahoma, and cruise through Washington state, killing as many people as possible. For Robert, the plan was a way to make his twisted fantasies of becoming a famous mass killer a reality. Michael, on the other hand, claims he just went along for fear Robert would turn on him. He also told police that he wanted to practice driving so he could get his learner's permit. Robert altered the plan in the days leading up to the delivery of the ammo. He feared his parents or younger siblings would call the police as soon as the package arrived. Not wanting to take any chances, he decided he was going to kill his family before that.
On the night of July 22nd, Robert said he flipped the switch from his true self to the evil alter ego he had been journaling about. David and the youngest Bever children all went to bed like they did any other night. April, Crystal, Michael, and Robert remained downstairs in the family room. April asked the brothers to do the dishes, and they got up and went upstairs to their bedroom instead. A while later, Crystal headed upstairs to bed. As she was passing her brother's room, she saw them putting on body armor and spotted numerous knives spread across the bed. The boys said they wanted to show Crystal something on their computer. When she entered the bedroom, Michael looked at Robert and asked, "Should we do it right now?" And Robert replied, "Yes." and came up behind his sister, slit her throat in a surprise attack. He had initially planned for her to die quickly and then store her body in a closet, but Crystal miraculously was still alive. She fought back against her brother as he stabbed her multiple times. Crystal was able to get away from Robert and she ran screaming towards the front door. While running, she heard her mother scream. Robert had moved to a different target and was stabbing his mom in the arms, neck, face, and chest and abdomen. He did this 48 times as she prayed to God to save her. Crystal ran outside the house but set off the home security alarm, letting her brothers know where she was. Michael dragged her back into the house and she laid on the floor in a pool of her own blood. The stab wounds inflicted on Crystal were so severe that her internal organs were protruding out of her torso. David Bever was also killed around this time. He had come out of his room to see the commotion, and Robert slit his throat and stabbed him to death 28 times in the back, chest, and neck, and abdomen. Robert then asked Michael where the others were. He replied that they were hiding. After they heard screaming, Christopher and Victoria had locked themselves in the bathroom, and Daniel had locked himself in his father's office. At 11:30 p.m., Daniel used the office phone to call 911. He whispered help to the dispatcher and said, "My brother's attacking my family." The dispatcher's notes detail the phone call, writing that there was a lot of screaming in the background and they could hear someone trying to be quiet and crying, and that a male voice said, "Hello," and then the line went dead. Michael had knocked on the door and begged for Daniel to let him in, saying that Robert was going to kill him. Daniel unlocked the door and Robert and Michael barged their way into the office. Michael grabbed the phone and smashed it to pieces. He then said to Robert, "He's all yours," and Robert started stabbing Daniel repeatedly while he cried out for him to stop. Daniel suffered 21 stab wounds to the stomach, chest, head, neck, and back. Using the same trick as before, Michael knocked on the bathroom door and pled with his little sibling, saying, "Let me in, he's going to kill me." One of the children opened the door and Michael immediately began stabbing both of them. Christopher was stabbed 21 times in the back, chest, head, and neck. Victoria was stabbed 23 times in her neck, back, chest, face, and abdomen. They also had defensive wounds on their bodies.
Dispatch had tracked the location of the 911 call Daniel had made, and officers arrived within 10 minutes. Upon arrival, they found blood on the front porch. When they knocked on the door, a faint voice cried out from inside. Officers forced entry and found Crystal lying on the floor with multiple stab wounds. They dragged her out of the house and called for paramedics. After searching the entire house, they dragged out the other 5 family members, not even knowing if they were dead or alive. One officer described the Bever home as the bloodiest scene of his 15-year career in law enforcement. They also found 1-year-old Autumn fast asleep in her bed. She had slept through this entire rampage, and thankfully was completely unharmed. While the brothers did intend to kill her by cutting her head off, they got so caught up in butchering their other family members that they completely forgot about her. Police recovered a hatchet and 6 bloody knives from the home. Both brothers had one 11-inch and one 15-inch hunting knife. Robert also had a paring knife and Michael had a 6-inch dagger. When paramedics arrived, Crystal was taken to St. Francis Hospital and was given life-saving surgery. Autumn was taken into protective custody. When Crystal recovered, she was placed in the same foster home as her sister. Michael and Robert had fled the scene, leaving behind some bloody footprints in the backyard. Police dogs tracked the brothers down within an hour and been hiding out near a creek behind the Bever house. Michael tried to run away but was bitten by a dog. Both were covered head to toe in dirt and blood. The killers were photographed by police while being apprehended. Robert smiled for the camera, his blood-splattered face covered in scratches. Michael was emotionless and just stared blankly at the camera. His black shirt ripped so badly more than half of his torso was exposed. He also said to an officer, "I hope they're okay," talking about his family, who he had just killed.
The brothers were taken into custody at 12:18 a.m., where they were interviewed by the Broken Arrow police detectives. They admitted to everything, including how they had planned to film 2 videos right after the homicides. For the first video, they wanted to defile and mutilate their parents' and young siblings' bodies and publish the video on the dark web. The second video was supposed to be G-rated, and they would share graphic details of the murder and post it to YouTube. Neither brother showed remorse for their actions. They were completely calm and emotionless while interrogated by detectives, even laughing and joking at times. Robert also told detectives how he had been thinking of killing his family since he was 13 years old. In his interview with police, Michael shared that Robert purchased their body armor and ammunition on eBay and his stockpile of guns from various retailers online, who later shipped them to an area gun store.
Well, man, I'm just kind of got thrown into this, so I was hoping maybe you could kind of just go back at the beginning when all this started and kind of tell me what happened, because I need kind of the details so we know and understand what you went through and stuff.
Okay, from the very start.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, about like 2 months ago
Okay.
is when we first really started talking.
So when you say we, who are you talking about?
Me and my brother, who is also.
Your brother?
Yeah, who has to do with me.
And what's his name?
Robert Bever.
Robert? Okay. And how old is he?
18.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Sorry.
A couple months ago, I think back to the start of this year, we started talking about voodoo and rampage and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I didn't take it seriously at first, but then he started buying like a body armor and stuff.
Where did he buy body armor from?
eBay and Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, legal.
Does
Yeah.
he have a job?
He did at Mike Tech. He quit at the start of the year. And basically, it just kept escalating. He kept getting burned, and he asked if I wanted any, and I said yes. So he got me my own set.
Oh, okay.
And then about a month, about like June 30th, is when he came to me and said he found out that he can legally buy guns without permit in Oklahoma. That he could.
Okay.
And that's when he started planning. And
Did you, now you said he bought body armor, but you kind of said like a bunch of stuff. Did he buy, what else did he buy besides body armor?
Besides body armor, knives, and he was in the middle of buying guns and ammunition.
I see, okay. Where did he buy the knives from?
eBay too.
Okay. Can you tell me like how many knives or what they look like or anything like that?
I think he had about 3 normal knives and then 1 small cannon packs.
Okay. And then the guns, where did he start buying guns from?
He bought them online. I think the website's like Bud's Gun Shop, and he bought 2 Glocks, 2 Glock 31s, and a shotgun. I forget, it's like a Mossberg, I think.
Oh, okay.
Bought the Glocks off of a website called Bud's Gun Shop, I think. And
Okay.
he bought the Mossberg off of the official website, and then had them shipped to like Okinawa gun club. So they're actually right now waiting for him.
So they were shipped
To a gun shop.
here in Broken Arrow?
Yep.
Okay.
And they're
Where is that gun shop, do you know?
he said 7 miles away. He was planning on biking up.
Okay.
It's like and I think it's next to Get Mall. It's like Okinawa gun shop
Okay.
or something. And then he bought, I think it was like 250 shotgun rounds
Okay.
on eBay. Not eBay, but some website.
On some
And
website?
then I think he bought close to 1,000 rounds for the Glocks.
Wow, okay.
And
But
he
he's still,
today.
oh, so he was supposed to have to pick those up?
Yeah, they're supposed to pick them up today.
And where was he supposed to pick those?
The ammunition was being shipped to the house. The guns were the Okinawa gun shop.
Okay. Do you know what his eBay user was? No.
No.
Okay. I just didn't know if you'd ever been on eBay and shopped or anything.
I used to a long time ago, and I like, novelty stuff.
Right.
Michael then shared that it was he that stabbed his brother Christopher to death.
Who else was in the bathroom?
I think Victoria might have been in there. About
Victoria?
Yeah, my 4-year-old sister.
Next, the officer asked Michael about his plans to not only kill his family, but in excess of 50 people.
We're talking about the ammunition being delivered, making plans. Tell me more about making plans and what you guys talked about.
Making plans, we plotted every night, and I started realizing we were actually going to do this thing on the second night. And so I started getting ready.
When was that? You said second night, what do you mean?
July 1st,
Okay.
because we started June 30th.
That's when you started making the plan?
Yeah, that's when we found out you could buy guns legally.
I see. Did you guys make drawings or write things down? Or
I think he had a journal. He basically writing his ideas down. I think it's under his bed.
under his
I
bed?
haven't checked out.
Is it like a
It's
like a journal, like a notepad or like a book?
It's like a blank book. In
Okay.
a black book, I think it's like a little case or something.
So you think he wrote stuff in there?
Yeah, I think he was planning in it.
Huh. So then the second day, you said that's when you realized that it might actually happen?
Yep.
What made you realize that?
How serious he was. I mean, he was going through, he started planning on taking all of his money out of his bank and throwing away all his stuff, so you know.
Why did he want to do it?
Kill people.
Yeah.
Well, mainly two reasons, I think. It's because he just, he says he hates everyone. He thinks society is pointless, and so he wanted to kill people.
Now,
And also he wanted to, beat the kill, amount of other famous people like Columbine and James Egan Holmes.
Okay. Did you kind of feel that way too, like when you guys were talking earlier,
Yeah,
do you have a problem with society too, do you think?
no, I just,
Or you were just more like the number of people getting killed was kind of interesting and
yeah, I wanted to-
exciting?
Yeah.
Okay. So, because you mentioned a couple names are those like serial killers or something?
What, like Columbine?
Yeah,
Columbine and James Egan Holmes. James Egan Holmes is a guy that shot at the theater.
in Colorado?
Yeah, he killed 12 and
Wow. How many were killed in Columbine?
Columbine, I don't know, 15, I
Okay.
think.
So did you guys have a goal? Did you have a number?
He just wanted, I think he wanted to kill 50.
Okay.
I have a goal.
So so as the planning goes, tell me what plans you started making and coming up with.
Well, originally, I think kind of stayed steady throughout the month. Is we wanted to kill everyone at the house first, and
Okay.
then wait for all the packages to show up over the weekend. And then we take the Yukon and we'd get out of state with the guns and start
Okay.
killing, rampaging.
Did you know where you were gonna drive to?
Towards Washington.
Washington State or DC?
Washington State. It was
Okay.
Washington State.
Why would you go to Washington State?
It's
Never-
just kind of
just never been
it's
there?
just kind of the direction we planned on.
And you said Yukon, do your parents have like a Yukon, is that what it is?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a large Yukon XL.
Does Robert have a driver's license?
He has a learner's permit.
Okay. So he would be able to drive it. Can you drive if you had to?
No, I couldn't.
Well, you can play video games, surely you can drive a car.
It's different.
Just not very well. I mean, you could get it from point A to B. You might hit some things on the way, but, okay. So you had your plan. So what happened after, tell me some more.
Well, I think everything started falling in place.
Kleenex right there for your
Starting to
thumb.
bleed.
Just, yeah, Kleenex right there.
There we go.
Oh,
Or maybe it's from your finger, I don't know. Yeah.
But, back a week before is when I started throwing away useless stuff.
Okay.
And I bleed, and so did he.
Did you guys like give things away to friends or anything like that? Or
Threw it
just
in the trash. I'm sure a lot of it's still in the barrels in the garage.
in the garage?
Yeah.
What kind of stuff did you throw away?
Random stuff, toys, stuff that was just piled up in my closet, and he had the room to put the body armor.
Oh, I see.
Old shoes, clothes.
How long have you had the body armor?
The body armor? Robert's had his probably since the start of the go, and we've been buying it. Well, he's been buying it.
Was it shipped to the house?
Yeah.
Do your parents know? Did they know it?
They knew he had bulletproof vests. They always thought that was a little loud, but they
Yeah.
never said anything about it.
Did he have anything else like the gear that the guys wear, helmets or goggles or gloves?
He had a soft Kevlar vest, a heavy, I don't know, it's like a metal plated vest,
Okay.
level 3 and a level 3. He had a helmet, bulletproof helmet, a bulletproof DEA mask, and leg guards.
Wow.
Also like knife-proof
Arm thing.
Yeah,
Wow.
a knife and balaclava.
Okay.
So yeah, it's
And then the body armor that you had, what was it like?
it was almost identical.
Okay.
Just a couple different difference in models and stuff.
And where is your body armor now?
Oh, my vests and my helmets, it was laying in the woods. The dog pulled it off of me. I
Oh,
was wearing it.
oh, you were wearing it?
Yeah, I was wearing the vest and the plate carrier and the
Okay.
helmet. So I took that, and the rest of my body armor was still in the closet.
Okay. So then kind of what happened is, I mean, you guys started getting all that stuff together and
Yeah.
you're throwing things away and...
Yeah, and we doing all the packages and the holsters, arrows, all that stuff was going to get healthy from Amazon. And so we set a date.
So was the plan to use the knives at first on the family?
Here's the next one.
Because the guns weren't going to be here till later on?
Yeah, and the guns would be too loud.
Oh, I see.
So going to use the knives on the family, which obviously did not go as planned.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I just sort of the red swords right now. Like, we didn't put more people out there.
Yeah. So then you picked a date, you said?
Yeah, which was yesterday night. That was the date.
Did you pick a time and everything?
Yep, yeah, midnight when most everyone was in bed except for Mom.
So how did you guys know? He just came and got you, or you got him, or what did you guys do?
We were hanging out in the bedroom waiting.
Okay, and so...
How'd you pick the date?
It evolved with the packages and stuff we have. Because, all the ammunition, he didn't want them to see that. So we killed him the day before the ammunition would get held, the day after we didn't leave.
Do you guys not like your mom and dad? I mean, most teenagers don't like their parents, so I can understand that.
Yeah, I mean, Mom was okay, but Dad was a little bit,
Just a little bit too much.
Yes.
The Killer brothers were then transferred to the Tulsa County Jail and held without bond. The pair appeared in court together for a preliminary hearing on February 23, 2016. They were allowed to sit beside each other, and cameras caught them laughing and joking with one another. On June 17, 2016, Robert tried to self-cancel in his cell using a bedsheet. Medical staff cut the sheet and saved his life, but he was uninjured and put on watch. Michael spent his time in the Tulsa County Jail drawing in his notebook, doodling pictures that police described as morbid and violent. In his journal, Michael names James Holmes, who massacred cinema-goers in Colorado, and cult leader Jim Jones as his hero. He included disturbing drawings of stick figure people trapped in burning buildings being beheaded by a guillotine and getting hit by a large truck. Additionally, there is a page featuring hate symbols and slogans, as well as a number of dead stick figures. The notebook also contains a short story about how he and his brother decided to murder their family, and it goes, "Once upon a time, there were brothers named Michael and Robert. They hated their family, so they killed them." The end.
Robert and Michael Bever were charged with 5 counts of first-degree homicide, as well as aggravated assault and battery with a deadly weapon. They were both tried as adults. Robert's trial began in June of 2016 and ended in September of that same year. He pled not guilty, but the judge offered him 10 days to change his plea to avoid the death penalty. Robert changed his plea to guilty and was sentenced to life imprisonment without parole. After the trial, Robert's defense attorney, Mark Henriksen, told Fox News, "Our client will probably have an easier life in the penitentiary than he had at home." Michael Bever's trial began on May 4th, 2018 and lasted over 3 months. His plea was not guilty. His defense attorney argued that he was manipulated and coerced by Robert into killing his family. Robert was on the witness stand and took responsibility for all the deaths, telling jurors that he had never even seen his brother holding a knife. Forensic tests, however, revealed Michael's clothing was soaked in his mother's blood, and that the blade of his knife contained the blood of David, Christopher, and Victoria. Michael later confessed to the courtroom that he had killed Christopher and Victoria. He was seen crying and shaking when the prosecution played the 911 dispatch call Daniel had made while being stabbed to death.
Broken Arrow 911. Hello?
Hello.
Hi, where are you at?
Broken Arrow, Oklahoma 7411.
What address?
709 Magnolia Court.
Okay. Are you the only one there?
No, my brother's attacking my family.
Your dad is attacking your family?
No, my brother.
Okay, who's attacking your family?
What?
Who's attacking your family?
Yes.
Who is it? Do they have...
I'll call them.
Are you there?
Hello?
Hi, what's going on there? What's going on there? Hello? Hello?
Robert also broke down in tears when shown a photograph of the bloody knife he used to murder his family. He addressed the jury saying, "That's a lot of blood. I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking." A judge sentenced Michael Bever to 5 life terms in prison to run consecutively. He appealed his sentence, saying it was a violation of his 6th and 8th Amendment rights to the United States Constitution because the jury had decided he was not irreparably corrupt and permanently incorrigible, which means they believe he can be rehabilitated. Michael also said the sentence is too excessive for a 16-year-old and does not provide him a meaningful opportunity for release. His appeal was rejected by the courts, and he will continue to serve 5 consecutive life terms. Both trials were emotionally unbearable for jurors, and tissues had to be passed around as people couldn't stop crying when crime scene photos were displayed. Even a veteran crime scene investigator who'd been involved in over 15,000 murder cases ran out of the courtroom when a photograph appeared on screen of 7-year-old Christopher and 5-year-old Victoria huddled in a bathroom corner, their pajamas and the floor beneath them covered in blood. Robert Bever's defense attorney filed a motion to limit emotion and remembrance of the victims in the courtroom.
Robert Bever is imprisoned at the Joseph Harp Correctional Center in Lexington, Oklahoma. When he arrived, he was diagnosed with major depressive disorder with psychotic features and PTSD. Doctors also suspected he had autism, schizophrenia, and borderline personality disorder, but never gave him an official diagnosis. In 2019, he acquired an 8-inch long shank and tried to attack 2 prison staff workers. He came up from behind the same way he attacked Crystal. Fortunately, another employee tackled him before he could harm anybody, and security arrived and restrained him. No charges were brought against Robert. The attack was simply put on his record as misconduct, coded as inmate on staff assault without serious injury. While in prison, Robert decided to get 1 tattoo on each knuckle. One hand says LWOP times 5, which stands for Life Without Parole times 5. His other hand reads Life. Michael Bever is incarcerated at the Lexington Correctional Center. Some people have criticized Michael's sentence, feeling he shouldn't have been tried as an adult due to his age, and also felt he was being largely manipulated by his brother. Do you feel that the court should have shown him leniency, or does he deserve the life sentence or more due to the horrific acts he committed? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section down below.
On August 6, 2015, a memorial service was held in honor of the Bever family at the Indian Springs Baptist Church. Hundreds of neighbors showed up to pray, sing hymns, and mourn the murdered family. Broken Arrow Mayor Craig Thurman was also in attendance. Autumn turned 2 a month after the killing of her parents and 3 siblings. She celebrated her birthday in the hospital with Crystal and their foster mother, who later adopted both of them. Crystal went on to become a sophomore in high school and participate in cross country. Despite having limited previous education, she achieved good grades. The Bever family home was abandoned after the murders. On March 18, 2017, the house was set ablaze by arsonists. Flames engulfed the home and completely destroyed the second floor. Firefighters were called at 3 a.m., and it took hours to put out the fire. A month later, the barely standing house sold for $50,000. The new owner demolished the property and turned the site into a memorial garden for the deceased family. The garden, which features a gazebo, several benches, and a pathway, is named Reflection Park. Since its opening in March of 2019, residents of Broken Arrow have had mixed feelings about it. Some wish the lot could have remained empty after the house was demolished, or a new house built in its place, as the park served as a constant reminder of the horrific events that occurred. Other residents, however, are happy about Reflection Park. One neighbor who lives directly behind the park told reporters that he thinks it's an awesome and beautiful tribute. Regardless, neighbors were relieved that 709 Magnolia Court is no longer in sight. No public information has been released regarding the Bever family's funeral and final resting place. However, since they were Christians, we can assume it was a religious ceremony that probably took place at the Indian Springs Baptist Church, same church where the memorial service was held. The Bevers had extended family who were likely in attendance, as well as the community that came and paid their respects. We don't know if Crystal was able to attend, as she was in the hospital recovering for months after the murder. The murder of the Bever family was one that people say they never saw coming. It was completely senseless and unthinkable in every sense of the words. It is impossible to truly understand exactly why these two wanted to cut short the lives of their own flesh and blood. Not just their parents, but of their young siblings as well. But what we do know is that David, April, Daniel, Christopher, and Victoria will be forever missed by those who love them.